Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains, and this is the end of February. I'm going to show you all the whips, all the fips, the finished in progress that are now finished, and let's see if I was able to stick with no buy in 2025. So stay tuned. All right, well, it is the end of February 2025. Now, I'm going to be honest with you because I'm always transparent. Currently, when you're watching this, the Brit and I are actually on a cruise, so I'm recording this a little bit early and I'm just going to schedule it. So I actually gave myself less than a month, and being that February is a short month, it was a short month for Kimberly, so I could get all of my things done before I went on the cruise so I could show you. But I'm excited. So far, you know the goal. No buy yarn in 2025. So no buy 2025, use the yarn that's in my stash. I have to do one crochet, one knit, and one other, which is like an amigurumi or a weaving project or something like that. I kind of fell short on the knitting. I'll show you that one. It's actually it's a whip. It's not a finished product, but that's okay. But the first thing I wanted to show you is this baby, and I love it. It's very cute. It's called the Cornflower sweater, and this thing started popping up on, I think it popped maybe on Facebook, but it's probably more on Pinterest. I was like, that's a really cute sweater, really like that, and I have the perfect yarn for it. I thought I bought the pattern, so I had to look through my, files to see, because I was like, I don't want to buy any patterns. I didn't have the pattern, and I was like, duh. But I decided to buy it. And this comes to us from Peachy Tea Crafts. She is out of Georgia. And it's a really cute pattern. So all in all, yes, it's a go. I like it. I'm sorry, Peachy Tea. The pattern is not super well written. She tries to be thorough, but it's not. She's kind of superfluous with her words, and there was a part where it actually was confusing. There was no chart that I recall. Nah, there's no chart. It just shows you like the construction of the sweater. And I had to, by round 6, it was confusing for me. So I basically just had to look at the picture and then count the stitches. But once I got the hang of it, it's basically just 20 squares. And then I just kind of memorized it. I would say as far as pattern writing, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Cuteness, a 10 out of 10. You guys want to see it? I'll show you. Ta-da! Cuteness, I love it. So it's basically just 20 squares that are granny. It's called the Cornflower sweater, so I don't know if she's calling this a cornflower or not, but the color that I chose reminded me of Cornflower Blue, and I was like, I love it. But it's super simple. I worked it up in like the weekend, pretty much. I was binge watching, what's the show? Old Brain. Hello? Yellowstone. Binge watching Yellowstone with the mumsy, and I got through most of these squares. So this is it here, but you can see the squares are just really cute. So this, I think, is what she's calling the cornflower. This part here got a little confusing for me. It wasn't a super well written pattern, which makes me slightly nervous because I ended up buying 2 more of her patterns. You buy 3, you get them like a discount or something. I think she was trying to be very thorough with her pattern writing, and it was a little confusing. So I'm going to give it to you for effort. But anyway, so this one here is called the Cornflower sweater. So the yarn that I used is this Lion Brand Cotton Bamboo Linen, and it's from their limited edition. It might even be considered their luxury edition. I'm not really sure, but it's LB. And the color that I used was called Denim. I used this last month when I made that kaleidoscope top that I used with the WeCrochet, the salvage yarn, and then I had to throw in an extra color, which was the evergreen. I like the way this works up. It's not really coarse. The pattern called for a weight of a 4, I believe it was, weight of 4 yarn. She used a cotton nylon blend, and this yarn here comes in at a weight of a 2, and I was like, oh, I'll just double strand it, and it worked out perfectly. And I had, so each ball that I used double stranded would make 4 squares with a little bit extra. I have like this much left. I'm gonna call it good. I'm gonna call it finished, because I was even able to do a single crochet all around the edges and around the collar and around the base. So each skein made up 4, and I had to make up 20. So I basically used 10 skeins to make the 20 squares. So I double stranded it. So I basically had 5 balls, right, if you will, and then each one made the 4, or each one made the 4. So I like it. It's super cute. You know, you got to wear like a tank top underneath or whatever, but that's what she's doing here in this picture. Loved it. So this was my first one. This was a Cornflower sweater. I love this yarn. I think it's still available on Lion Brand. It is the cotton and bamboo linen. Like I said, it's a weight of a 2. Each ball has about 164 yards. So it's a little bit on the smaller side. I have it still in the hazelnut. I have it in the evergreen, like a sage color. And I have it in this real pretty, it's like a lavender color, but I had literally just enough. I only had 10 balls of the blue. Done. Used it, love it, and so right there, I got through my 10 balls. Very, very exciting. All right, so that was my first thing. The second thing that I did, which I also started and finished in February, was this gorgeous baby. This is my open wrap book by Toni Lipsey. And I didn't realize I had this pattern, but I had a huge box of the Happy Place yarn. So let me show you that guy. Ta-da! I love this. I love this. Now, you know, I'm all about color. But this is the open book wrap, and it's by Toni Lipsey, and it is an oversized triangle scarf with popcorn stitches. I was like, well, that's going to be so easy. Now, I'm going to tell you, in comparison, Toni Lipsey, she's a master. Like, she knows her stuff. She's written books. The pattern was like easy peasy. And I love it. And it calls for using the Mélange yarn, the Happy Place. Now, I have it in the solids and I had it in the melange. And so I pulled it out and I pulled out. She had more of the pastel colors. The ones I had were more vibrant, but I didn't care. That was fine. This took me about 4 days, kind of. Yeah, it was very, very simple. It was just a granny stitch here. And then I think it's 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. I apologize. 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you do a popcorn row. So simple. But look at this. I really like, so goes like this. But notice how the back, with the blocks of the color, the way that they end. I thought it was really cool, and I had never done anything quite like that before, and I was like, yes, please. I really dig that. And it's big. It's really long. So if you're just going to like want to curl up with a book or something like that, which apparently maybe that's what it is. So the Happy Place yarn. Now my understanding is you can still get this on the Hobbii website. And it's kind of cool because I had a lot of this yarn, but then once a year, Toni does this destashing thing, sale. And she sells a lot of her own personal stash and things like that. And I'm always jumping on it. I don't know if I can do it this year, but I'm going to try. Anyway, so I was actually able to get some Happy Place yarn from her. So I got to use Toni's, I wish she would have autographed it, but she didn't. That's okay. But some of the yarns that I have that I used were her Happy Place yarn that she herself touched. So Toni, I'm wearing your yarn. Thank you very much. But I love it. It's super soft. It is. So the Happy Place yarn by Hobbii, and it's got Toni's little picture right there. So cute. Is, and they're big balls. It's 50% cotton and 50% wool. And each ball has 273 yards per ball. I didn't finish. I have a lot of little extra scrappy balls. I didn't actually finish a full ball, but most of them I did finish. And that's okay because I still got the 10 of this stuff. So I did hit, I said I wanted to hit between 10 and 12 balls of yarn. So I already kind of hit it with this one. And this was my second crochet project, but it just works up so fast. All right, so these two things Kimberly did. Then I was like, you know what? I had this pattern sitting around forever. The Emotional Support Chicken. Now, I have it in both crochet and knit, which I love. So I actually, because I was just wanting something to be done fast, this is the knit pattern, and I was looking for the crochet pattern, and it's around here somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but it's somewhere around here. And that's the one I used. Oh my gosh. I love her so much. Ta-da, ta-da! Isn't she adorable? And I'm not speaking to my prowess in crochet, but so I had all of these yarns that I had gotten from WeCrochet. Okay, I really do try to stay organized. So here is my Henrietta box. And here is the crochet pattern. So it comes in crochet and it comes in knit. And I liked her so much, I would probably try to do the knit. I just thought it's probably gonna take a little bit longer than the crochet. And I started her during my Yellowstone marathon. So I kind of go between the Cornflower sweater and then the Henrietta. And I just wanted to do something. I have two projects which I'll show you, which are more long-term that I haven't finished yet. And I just needed to throw in some short stuff, you know, like you kind of have to, you got to know your energy level, you got to know your mood, like where are you at and that kind of stuff. So I needed something short. I got all of this yarn from WeCrochet last year. They had these kits, which is actually a great kit. And it's like all of their cottons and all of their, I think it was mostly just their cottons, and you didn't really know what you were going to get, but they sent you like one ball of all these different things. This pattern here calls for a worsted weight yarn. So I just went through and I had all these yarns from WeCrochet. They sent me this shine in worsted, which I didn't end up using, but everything tended to be in these lavenders and grays. So the colors just kind of like spoke, right? This one here is actually feels like butter from Lion Brand. And I used this, I added a little bit of embellishment. I did a little bit of my own thing. I added a little popcorn stitch here as a border between the two colors. And so that's what I used for the popcorn stitch there. Then I had this yarn, which I couldn't even tell you what this is, but it was really cool because it had just like a bunch of, let me see if I can find a good part. Like this. I know. It had some really cool like textures going on in there. And it had all the purples and the, you know, more like Merlot colors. And then there were some grays. And I was like, I don't even know where this came from, but I really liked it. So I used that like in this part here, just to give her some texture, and then up here around her neck. This was her breast and then her neck. Then the WeCrochet, I am showing you, I promise. I got this, which I believe is called Dishy. Yes, it's a Dishy twist. And this was a worsted weight. So I used some of this, because the nice thing about these chickens is you can do like whatever you want. You can do solids. Here in the picture, you can see they use a lot of solids in all the different areas. And then in the knit, they use pretty much like just one color that was more of a variegated color. You can do whatever you want. And that's the beauty of this baby. That's the fun. See, like this is what the knitted one looks like. So she's got some different colors going through. And then this one here, the crocheted. I recommend everybody needs to make a emotional support chicken. And that's what she looks like there. So I just was like, well, lavender is what's just keeps popping up, and lavender is what's speaking to me, and that's what we're gonna go with. So I used the lavender and the gray, the Dishy twist. Then I used this one, which was the Dishy, I think it's also a Dishy multi. So that has just the longer runs of color, longer stripes of color, where this is like really short, kind of twisted, and this is more of a variegated, so twist variegated. So the twist I used here in this area, and the variegated with the longer color streaks I use here, which I thought was kind of cool. I really enjoyed that. This was another one that they sent me in that little sampler kit, if you will. And this is the Dishy Solid. Dishy. So it's all cotton. So I tried to use the same type of yarn. And this is just kind of a rust color. I don't even know what they call it. Nope, they call it, there's a name, hold on. Sun-baked clay. And I thought, well, that's a good contrast. So I used that for, again, I did a contrast here with the popcorn. And then I thought it was kind of cool because you have to do her tail. So I did one side in the sun-baked clay. And then I did the other side, this side, in a Dishy that they sent me that was in the lavender. And then I did her, her beak, her crest, and her wattle, this guy here, all in that sun-baked clay. And then the other yarn that they gave, which was really pretty. So this is the Dishy in the solid that they gave. So I loved the colors together. I mean, that just, to me, that just was like, yeah, speaks to me. And it was very soothing colors, in my opinion. Then I had this stuff from Lion Brand, and I think it was called Feel Like Feather. And I don't have that much of it. And good Lord, don't even know where you could find it here on out. But I had some in the lavender, I have some in red, and I have some in kind of a cream beige color that I just put away that I was looking for. And I thought, oh, wait, hold the phone. And so she just kind of like, I don't know, these colors really kind of jumped out and spoke to me. I was like, gosh, yeah. And they were all worsted weight. And so I was very excited. So I used this. So she's one of those, like those furry chickens, you know? And I used this in her, basically I crocheted her crest. And then I just added a row up here of this guy. And then I crocheted her tail. And then I added it down here on the end. So just as a little bit of an accent. Not too much. I love her. I love her. And then I just got some, this stuffing pellets, these weighted stuffing pellets. And I actually had some fabric. It's lavender. You can't see it, but she's sewn inside. And then I sewed a little lavender weighted pouch that went down inside. Isn't she cute? So this was my amigurumi. I was going to name her, because she's all in the lavender. I was looking at like Lola, Lulu, you know, in the lavender, but everybody kept saying Henrietta. And I was like, Henrietta. Huh. And I kind of liked Henrietta. And I put this out on my community page, like, what should I call her? And you guys all said Henrietta or Penny. So maybe I'm going to call her Henrietta. I don't know. She just looks like she should have a long name. Henrietta Lolita, the emotional support chicken. What do you think? Isn't she? I think she's cute. So this was my amigurumi project. If you guys are interested, you know, I'm always going to include the patterns down below. This one, I will tell you, I did pay for these. It was from the Knitting Tree LA. So I'll include the link. It's a yarn store. And you can actually buy the kit. If you just wanted to buy the kit, they'll send you the pattern with all the yarn if you want to go that way. Otherwise, this is the perfect scrap project. I actually was originally going to use my Happy Place yarn with that. I think it is a little thin for this. And I like this yarn so much that I kind of feel like I want to use this for something a little bit nicer than my Henrietta. But this lends itself to a really nice, you know, like an acrylic, but these are all cottons. All the yarns that I used except for this guy down here, they're all cottons, which I thought actually is perfect for her. All right, this pattern here was free. I'll include the link to that. And this one here, I paid. It wasn't very much. I'll include the link. It's an Etsy store. You can go out, you know, and support the Etsy peeps. But that was all the fun that I had in the month of February. Now, there are 2 projects, and one of them is knitting, that I've started and I haven't finished, so I got to show you those. The first one, let me put Henrietta Lulu over there, Lolita. She's going to have all kinds of names. I've been wanting to start this pattern for the longest time. I bought this last year. It's from WeCrochet. It's called Behind the Seams. And it's all kind of movie inspired. It even looks like a little movie poster up here. It's so cute. And so there are 5 patterns in here. But the thing that drew me in was this thing, and it's called, well, it was on the front page. And it is called the Leading Lady Duster. And I went, I don't know, it was just speaking to me. Now a duster, even in crochet, is quite the feat. It is quite the commitment. So I've started it. The other thing that I really liked about this pattern is it uses this Upcycle Alpaca blend. And I have talked about this enough. You guys know that I kind of have like a little crush on this yarn. And I was like, I can't wait to use it. So I bought this yarn specific for this pattern. I think this pattern might even have what introduced me to this yarn. Unfortunately, when I went to buy it, they didn't have all the colors from the duster. So I bought what they had, which was, let's see, it calls for, the colors they call for are Topaz, Parchment, and Latte. Topaz, Parchment, and Latte. Well, Kimberly had Fawn, which is sort of a light caramely mocha color. It's very close to the Mocha Mousse, which is the Patillon color of the year. This is very Mocha Mousse. So I had this color. Then I had Azul, which is what they had, which I was like, that's cool. I don't mind the blue. You know, that's good. And then this guy here, which is called Biscotti. So I had these 3 colors here. And I like it. I like it a lot. It's just, because it's a duster, it's just taken a long time. But it is an alpine stitch, which is very simple. It basically is, it's a single crochet across, on the wrong side, but on the right side, it's basically a, depending on which you do, it's a double crochet and a front post double crochet. And it ends up looking kind of like this. So you kind of do this sort of a alternating, so where you double crochet in one row, you go back and you front post it. So it's not like one big, huge, long line. It sort of kind of comes at a diagonal. But it's working out pretty good. So I got the Fawn done. I got the Azul. And then up here is the Biscotti. So this is the last part of the back of the sweater. But it's thick. It's working up really thick, which that's cool. I don't mind. Because, you know, a duster should be nice and warm. But I really like the colors coming together. So once this is done, and it works up in one piece, which is sort of interesting. So the way that you do it, let me show you, is this part here is where I'm working on. And then you basically do a split and you come all down the front. So it's going to be just kind of up and over the shoulders here. And then it's got the chart. And then basically you just do the sleeves at the end. So I am kind of right about in this area. I'm in the last group of colors, then I'm going to come down. And I think when I get to this part, I think it's going to be a lot easier. But I got my little Post-it notes with my stitches here, counts my rows. Yeah, isn't it pretty though? Even in my colors, I like it very much. Yeah, so we're going on this cruise, which when you watch this will already be on the cruise. So this is going to be one of the projects that I'm going to be bringing with me on the cruise. So this is my current whip, because as you know, my commitment, sorry, I'll get my chair set up. My commitment is that I have to do one crochet and one knit project. I'm really trying to strike myself out you know, and do both. And it's funny, a friend of mine, Chris Acton over at Acton Creative, she goes, you're special. And she meant that as a compliment, in that most people are either like one hook or 2 needles, but they don't do both. So I am dual, I'm multilingual. I was like, really? You think? Because I'm just trying to teach myself. Chris is my weaving guru. I'm taking her class, Dress the Loom, and let me tell you, game changer. I can't wait to show it to you. It's almost done. We're doing just a sampler, so it's not actually like a thing as it is. We're trying different techniques. We're trying different stitches. We're tying up different treadles. But this class has given me a whole new lease on weaving life. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So it's almost done, but it won't be done in time for this video, but I will show you what I did in March. I will finish that video and show you. And then I have a plan for Chris. I haven't revealed it to her yet. It might make her scream out just a little bit, but we'll see. I need her color expertise. I have a bunch of yarns that I want to make a sweater, a cardigan that I found. It was a $3,000 cardigan, and I was like, nobody in their right mind is going to pay $3,000 for a cardigan. I don't care if it's made out of Italian cashmere. I don't care if you're wearing the actual cashmere goat. I'm never paying that kind of money. So I went and found all these really nice yarns, and I'm thinking I might want to weave it, and that's where Chris is going to come in. So Chris, if you're watching this, she's going to be going, oh, what are you talking about? I'll talk to you about it later. All right. So the next project that I'm working on, and this is my whip, is this pattern from Purple Lamb Fiber Arts. And I love these guys. You know, I bought a lot of yarn from them. I made my Van Gogh Starry Night shawl from them. I crocheted it with the bobbles, and I loved it. And this one here, actually Carla, who is the indie dyer of Purple Lamb Fiber Arts, it's her company, she came up with this pattern, and it's called the Metamorphosis shawl. And it looks like this. And she is using, let me see if I can find a better picture. She is using her assigned pooling yarns and then a nice variegated. So it kind of looks like this guy here. I thought, what better to use, because I had in my stash, right? 2 of her colors that actually work perfectly. This is an assigned pooling. It's called Peacock Feathers. It's on Sock Perfection Garden Collection. It's assigned pooling. So each skein has 450 yards. And so it calls for 2, but it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. So it calls for that. And then when you do the assigned pooling, what she's having you do, and this is all I've gotten so far. It's really small, but that's what it's going to come out to look like. When you come up to the assigned pooling, you start dropping your stitches. So it is giving some definition to the peacock, the eye part, or the peacock feathers part, which on the feather, it's called the eye. And then you alternate it with this guy here, which is on her, this is her sparkly yarn, which is lovely. And she actually recommends using it. This is the Splash and Speckled colorway, and it's called Monet's Water Lilies on Sparkly Merino Sock. And you see a little bit of sparkle in there? I think you can do it. Camera, focus, focus, focus. Come on, focus, focus. It's in there, people. You just got to trust me that there's some sparkle in there. Maybe this one's a little bit better. Yeah, you can sort of see the sparkle. Yeah. Okay, so this pattern that she calls for 650 yards of the assigned pooling colorway. So it's going to take up a full ball of this and like half of this, or maybe most of that. And then 760 yards of a semi-solid tonal or non-pooling variegated colorway. If you choose a variegated colorway, look for random splashes. I call these speckled and splashed and speckled colorways in my shop, which I had 2 balls of. I'm very excited. So this is also going to be coming on the cruise with me, and this is the knitting project. And I think what's going to happen, because, okay, so I'm not a huge fan of the drop stitch here, which I don't mind the drop stitch. I just don't know if it's giving enough definition to the peacock feathers that I want. But I believe later on in the pattern, she's giving you a bobble stitch, which you can kind of see in here. And that is what I'm very excited about. And perhaps we're only doing the flat part because it's up at the top of the shawl, and maybe we're just doing, it's going to be different. So that was it. My finished projects, this puppy here, the Cornflower sweater, the open book shawl, Henrietta Lolita, the some more emotional support chicken. I love her. I actually brought her to yoga the other day to my peeps because they wanted to see what I was talking about, and I almost couldn't get her out of there. They almost wanted to just keep her. By the way, if you're interested in the Project Welcome Home, you guys are what? What's Project Welcome Home? Take a look at the playlist because it's all in there about Project Welcome Home and what we did. We were making granny square blankets for the assisted living facility, and that's still going. So if you guys want to make the blankets or the granny squares for the assisted living residents, you still can. We just haven't gotten any this year that I know of. Usually my UPS guy or my postal annex guy will call me and tell me I've got packages. We're looking for 42 like 5 by 5 inch squares or 6 by 6 inch squares, something like that, granny squares. As long as they're the same size, we're looking for, if you make them the 6, you don't have maybe 40, you know, but if you make them in the 5 inch, maybe 42 that's kind of the magic size. And then we'll sew them together. So if you want to see more information about that, check out the playlist of the Project Welcome Home, but we will be doing those again this year. That was a huge hit. So please feel free to if you want to donate those, then Mumsy and I will be sewing those together. Otherwise, if you just joined us or you just found us, I am so happy that you found us. Yay. Thank you. My name is Kimberly. This is Knit for Brains. This is my little world of crafts where we knit, we crochet, we do some weaving. We do a lot of stuff. We do some book reviews and some product reviews and things like that. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like button on this video because that sends us up in the ranks so more people can find us. But make sure you hit the subscribe button too so you get all the videos and you know when we're dropping videos. We try to drop 1 to 2 a week, depending on what's going on, depending on what we've got to talk about. But I'm very glad that you're here. So thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And as always, I'll see you soon.